Danger Zone special. I hope you're all ready. We're going to go get that free money. I'm your host, Ty B, and today I'll be joined by Meerkat and Wake Jockins making this Degenerate Danger Zone debut. We have some NFL football, obviously. We're going to dabble on some Europa, and it's feast week, so you know we got some college basketball plays. Meerkat, how you feeling? Are you ready to eat?
I am starving. I'm not eating breakfast. I'm not eating lunch. And it's not just because of no Thanksgiving dinner, but it's just because there's so many plays. I want to feast on this board. So many picks. I'm going crazy. College basketball all day. We have football. It sucks the late game was canceled, but we got college football to make up for it too. And Europa League all day. Go Spurs. You love to see it. It's a Thanksgiving dream.
Oh, absolutely. And Wake, you're making your debut here. I know you started dabbling a little bit on the board. We break these games down every Sunday morning on the cap, and I know you've been making a little bit of money there, putting in some parlays. How you feeling making your debut?
Feeling pretty good. The thing I'm most nervous about for today is I met my girlfriend's families for Thanksgiving, and they make this weird sweet potato with marshmallow thing, and I've never had it
Ooh.
before. Sounds weird, and some of my friends from back home say that it's apparently really, really good. It's like dessert almost, but I'm trying it out of sheer curiosity, but I'm kind of nervous about that one. I might have to get a couple White Claws in me to help me get that down. I don't know.
Yeah, you're on Long Island. Dewey Crocs has some White Claws on deck if you need some. But let's get into these NFL games a little bit here. First game of the day, the Houston Texans taking on the Detroit Lions. Texans, 3.5 point favorites right now. Meerkat, what's your first play on this game?
My first play, moving in my direction a little bit, which I love because I locked this in last night, checking the lines now. I am on Houston Texans -3 today. That's my big play on this game. I love the Texans coming into it. As a whole, they haven't been great. They've won 2 of their last 3, though. But Watson's been incredible with what they're giving him. Will Fuller's starting to turn it up. The last 7 games, Watson's got 17 total touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and almost 300 yards per game. Detroit is beat up, especially in the secondary. You have no Kuda. You're missing Deshaun Hand on the defensive line. DeAndre Swift not going to play. These injuries to the Lions are too much. Matt Stafford's thumb injury didn't look great last week. He looked shaky, limited early this week in practice. So betting against the Lions on Thanksgiving seems like a sin, but I'm doing it. Let's go Texans -3.
I'm riding with you on the Texans on this play. I think Deshaun Watson's going to have a great day. I think maybe Kiki Kuti could have a little breakout performance. Maybe try to get that. What do they do with turducken? They got the 8-legged turkeys or whatever. Who knows? Wake, what are you looking at in this game? This is a weird matchup.
It's a weird matchup. Two really bad defenses. The Lions are not as historically bad as the Seahawks, but they're pretty bad. Texans bad defense too. So I'm loving the over. It started out at 51. It's made its way up to 52, and that's still not scaring me off. Matt Stafford is a guy who can put up points. You didn't really see that last week against Carolina when they got shut out. But I'm not going to chalk that all up to him. Carolina's a sneaky good defense. And, Matt Stafford is the kind of guy who's going to keep them in games against bad defenses. So that over 52 right now where it stands, and also a player prop from this that I like staying kind of on Matt Stafford. He does have that thumb injury, but I think the game script is going to be pretty negative for Detroit in this one. So they're going to have to pass the ball a lot. I like Matt Stafford over 22.5 completions. It started out at -130. It's moved to -143. So people are taking it. I still like it at those odds. I think that, I think the Texans are going to get it out to an early lead. I think that they're ultimately going to win. I have the money line in a parlay too that I'll share a little bit more about later. But I think it's going to be high scoring, and I like Matt Stafford to get those completions up too.
Oh, we love points. There's nothing better than points. Sorry, Degenerate Al. I know you love your unders. But Meerkat, I know you got a player prop on this one too. What are you looking at?
My player prop on this one, I really like it. A guy who's finally stayed pretty healthy this season, Will Fuller. His over 70.5 receiving yards. Bit of juice there at -132. Doesn't scare me. He's having his best season yet as a pro. I think he's already broken his, most yards in the season and stuff, and that's because he's staying healthy. Deshaun Watson's playing great, and there's no D Hop anymore. Fuller's not a true number one guy at all. He can stretch the field for you. He can run a decent route tree. As long as he stays healthy, he's a pretty prolific receiver, just not a true number one, even though he's been thrust into that role in Houston. I mean, he's gone over that number 5 times in 9 games this season, but Detroit's secondary is banged up. Like I said, Noah Okuda, who really high pick in the draft, has started, when he's been healthy, shown flashes of being a great corner, big replacement for Darius Slay, but he's out today. A couple other corners out for them. I love Will Fuller today. I think he's going to feast. It's his first Thanksgiving since his rookie season. So, give him a little look here at that over, 70.5. I think he can go over 100 today.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I think I'm going to go Kiki Kati anytime to score 3-1. I like that. I think he'll get some decent matchups there. Their number 2/3 receiver, Brandon Cook's sort of more of an inside slot guy. Kati can get some looks there in the red zone as more of a dynamic threat. But let's move on to the second game of the day. The Dallas Cowboys hosting the Washington football team. Another 3-point spread, the Cowboys favorites. And the over-under sitting at 46 in this one. Wake, let me send it to you first on this game. This is a weird matchup because the winner of this game is going to have 4 wins, and they're going to be in the lead of the NFC East.
Yeah, I think, okay, so I'm not touching the over-under. I'm just going to say that now. You don't know what Alex Smith is going to show up. You don't know what Andy Dalton's going to show up. You don't know what Dallas defense is going to show up. And the Washington defense is good enough to hold some teams in check. So the over-under, it's at 46, I think, right now. It's dicey. It's dicey. It makes me, that's a perfect number to scare someone like me off of it. What I do like is the Washington football team money line. Love it. Plus 130, a little bit of value there. I think Alex Smith is much more efficient at the very least. And we have a very small sample size between him and Andy Dalton. So I don't want to make any giant statements, but it seems like Andy Dalton's taking more risks. Alex Smith is targeting J.D. McKissick 15 times in a game. So I think that Washington is going to play more of that ball control style. They have a lot of emotional things to play for with Alex Smith's return, Ron Rivera beating cancer. They have a lot of hype, a lot of positivity in that locker room. I think it's going to translate into a win against Dallas. Also think it's going to translate into Terry McLaurin hitting his over 79.5 receiving yards. I know that's a high number for an over-under for receivers, but I think that's way too low. He's top 5 in the NFL in receiving yards right now. And, is he a top 5 receiver in the league? Maybe. I'm not sure. I think he is, personally. I get the argument he might not be, but he's been getting at least 7 targets in every single game. The only person who's gotten more targets than him in any game is J.D. McKissick, who got 15 targets for no good reason. So I love Terry McLaurin to get that over 79.5. Also love him for FanDuel if you're doing some DFS for Thanksgiving. His salary I think is around 71 or 7,900, somewhere in that range right there. Even though he's one of the more expensive receivers, he's one of the best values out there. If that's where you're leaning to gamble some money away today, I love Terry McLaurin and FanDuel too.
Yep, that's not a bad move at all. Scary Terry's been eating this year. Meerkat, what do you got for me on this one?
I don't do this a ton. I do it on DDZ sometimes. And when I do, I have a pretty good track record. I'm really confident in Riverboat Ron and the Washington R Wards to right the ship today, take the lead of the NFC East. I'm going with the R Wards money line, 1 unit, and then 2 units on the spread, +3, just as a little insurance. But that money line at plus money, plus 132, it was plus 125 last night. So people seem to like the Cowboys today. I don't. Washington's been frisky all season. It doesn't matter the competition. It doesn't matter who's been under center. They've just been a frisky team. That defensive line's good. That secondary, not seeing a ton of targets against them because teams are running a lot, but the numbers are good there. They're a solid defense. They have a great coach. And Alex Smith, bit of a resurgence here since he's been back. He's had a couple big games. And, Washington already beat Dallas this season, 25-3. I know that was a weird game with DiNucci and Dalton both playing, the injuries and stuff. but I don't know. There's some sketchy injuries in this game too with kickers, which is gonna make me lean the under. I think there's gonna be missed field goals. I think there's gonna be a lot of turnover on downs and stuff like that. You have Dustin Hopkins for Washington didn't practice all week. He's questionable. Greg Zwerlin for Dallas limited participant all week. He's questionable. They might be going for it on these 4th and 4, 4th and 5s on the other team's 40 or something, and you'll see a lot of turnover on downs. I don't like either of these teams, red zone efficiency by any means to score a lot of points. So I'm going with the R words heavy, going with that under 46, and then for a prop, gonna build off of Wake a bit because if Terry's getting 80 receiving yards, that means Alex Smith's gonna be throwing the ball a lot. I'm on Alex Smith over 243 and a half passing yards, minus 112 odds right there. His first two starts, he had 325 and 390. He was airing the ball out, a few picks, but he's throwing the ball a lot. Last week, they were up in the second half pretty early, so they started running more. He didn't hit the number, but Dallas allowing 242 yards per game in the air. This is at 243. I think we see a little bit more passing today. And I just like Alex Smith on Thanksgiving. His comeback story's been great. Why not do something nice on the national stage today?
Mm-hmm.
Not so fast, my friend.
Uh
The
oh.
Dallas Cowboys are going to take the lead of the NFC East today, and they're going to run away with it. I'm sorry, Meerkat. Don't lay those units on it. The Cowboys are going to take the stranglehold, and they're going to run away with this division. Al's futures are safe. I think that this defense is starting to really figure things out. Leighton Vander Esch being back was a huge, huge key to that. And the way that they've been playing, and you lose a strength and conditioning coach, unfortunately, just 54 years old, who just passed away this week. This team is going to have an extra fire playing on Thanksgiving
True.
in Jerry World. Bet the mortgage on the Cowboys. Sorry, Meerkat. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I hate
I
going
like when
against
we
you.
go
I
against
hate
each
going
other.
against you. It happens, but
It does happen.
normally we're on the
Today
same
is one of
wavelength.
those days.
Yeah. So let's move on a little bit here. I know, Wake, you're into some soccer, but we're going to talk Europa League a little bit here. I got a nice, juicy parlay that I think is going to hit today. But my first play, I'm riding with Villarreal. They've been scoring in bunches this year. Carlos Baca is looking very good still. This team is just getting up and down the pitch and has no problems filling the net. The last time they played Tel Aviv, I believe they won 4-0. So yeah, thank you. They're gonna win this. They're only minus 148. I got them at earlier at the Creek. Love Villarreal. Meerkat, what do you got for me?
I got my usual Europa parlays. There's a ton of great parlay fodder at actually pretty decent value. Not all -4, -500. It's a lot of teams between that minus, 120, 200 range you can get today for parlays. I like, teams like Roma, Real Sociedad, Arsenal, the Young Boys, Villarreal, PSV. All great parlay fodder. I only have one main play of the day. It's a play that right when I saw it to you, I was like, this just isn't right. It's Leicester's money line even against Sporting Braga today in the Europa League. I think this is just a broken line. Sometimes they get a little sloppy, a little lazy with these Europa lines. That's what I'm feeling here. Both of these teams are in form. Both only have one loss in their last six, but Leicester's group form in the Europa so far has been great. They're 3-0, great goal differential, and they're just a way more quality team. Their depth is great. Their starting 11 is going to be far more talented, a lot more class than Braga's. So we'll see. Leicester did beat them 4-0 in their first Europa game, pretty recently too. So their money line straight up even. That's something I'm just gonna throw money at today.
Oh, absolutely. Is there anything you're seeing there, Jake, you like? Any lines sticking out?
I mean, when I look at how Arsenal's been playing lately, they're coming off a draw against Leeds when they got a red card. They coming off a 3-0 loss to Aston Villa. I really like them to cover the 1 point spread against Molde today. I just don't think that they're gonna not pick up a win in 3 straight games. I really like Arsenal this time, and like you said, AC Milan. I like all the plays you guys have said so far. So I think we're on the right track here for some Europa action on this Thanksgiving.
Yep. So we got a 1975 parlay for you. Plus 1975. Shout out the 1975. Anything 1975. Great year. Some good Grateful Dead live shows. But we're going with Villarreal, Arsenal, Leicester, Hoffenheim, Roma, and PSV. I put that one in so that the payout's exactly 420. I think it's going to hit. I think that is going to be a real moneymaker for everyone today. Meerkat, what's your parlay?
Uh, my parlay, it's a little ridiculous. I know. It's heavy. It's plus 24.57. So almost 25 to 1 odds there. I'm running Napoli, Roma, Real Sociedad, Arsenal, the Young Boys, Villarreal, Tottenham, and PSV. I know it's ridiculous. Don't tail that, but the odds are too great. We've been seeing a lot of chalk recently in soccer, and we might be entering the chalk zone again today, especially in the Europa League. You get into the late rounds, the second half of the group stage, where teams really need to step it up. Some teams in that second, third spot, they're gonna need to bump their game up so they don't fall out of the second spot or get up into that top two spots. Move on. I'm seeing chalk today. I love parlays. I'm gonna run probably some round robins too, just in case you get an upset here or there. So the worst is when you get a Europa draw that just throws a wrench in the whole parlay.
No. Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Happened to us with Atletico the other day. They're dead to me. That's all I got to say on that one. But let's move on. Feast week, day 2. We got college basketball back. You gotta love it. I'm just so happy that we have it back. But I'm looking at this Austin P versus Eastern Tennessee State. ETSU, great season last year, I believe, over 20 wins. But they lost almost like 90% of their scoring, somewhere around there, and struggled yesterday with a 22-point loss. They were only like 6-point underdogs yesterday. A huge, huge loss. Austin P looks to be a pretty decent team this year. After their performance yesterday, I like Austin P to get the win and cover the spread there on that one. It's moved to 9.5. I still kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy on college basketball today. I only had 2 plays yesterday, both awful. I had Michigan minus 15 and 14. Minus 15 misses by a point. The 14 pushes. Just some late game antics there. Don't even want to get into it. Then I had Villanova as well, minus 14. They won by 9. So I'm going to take it easy this first week or so of college basketball. Let these guys get back into the swing of things, get better reads on teams. There are 2 games I'm betting today. They're my 2 favorite teams for futures so far. Out of everyone before anyone's played, I'm gonna roll with Gonzaga's money line against Kansas. It's minus 190, so I'm gonna probably parlay with that with some things. That minus 4, I might dabble, see if it moves down to people like Kansas, but I'm gonna hammer that minus 190 on Gonzaga. I think they're the best team in the country. And then another reason I love college sports, the ridiculous lines I'm riding with another team I love. Incredible offensive team, Illinois, 8th in the country against Chicago State today. Nice little minus 43 line. Why not? I'm taking it for some fun today. I think they can absolutely decimate Chicago State. You can see one of
like
those
the worst
games
team
that,
in D1.
yeah, and Illinois might have the best one of the top 5 offense at least in Team One. They're a great team. I have futures on them and Gonzaga this year. I love my Michigan Blue, but we're starting to become, a basketball school. We're not all the way there yet. Number 1 recruiting class coming soon. We'll see.
Oh, absolutely. It's you, Wake. I gotta brag a little bit here. My early play of the day, I had to make a play on this 11 o'clock game. I needed some action. Did it yesterday, and I hit nice, fading ETSU. Today I was fading Middle Tennessee because they lost their two top scorers from last season on a team that only had 9 or 10 wins. Yeah, they're gonna struggle. Omaha's up 32-19 at half. Wake, what are you looking at?
So I am right there on that Illinois minus 43. I love that line. And funny enough, I'm also on the Gonzaga Kansas game. I have Kansas covering. I think they're going to cover the 4. I know I agree with you that I think Gonzaga is the best team in the country. When we get around to the tournament, they're going to make it pretty far in my bracket, obviously, just like many other people. But, it's early in the season. Underdogs are going to be hitting. They're going to be covering. I like Kansas to do that, get the job done. Good teams win. Great teams cover. That's all I
My
got.
favorite quote, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm avoiding this spread, and I'd rather just lay that heavy money line juice because you look at the spread, it's only -4 points. They think it's to be a close game, but Gonzaga's still -190 money line. You think it might be a little lower with that spread, but they're pretty confident Gonzaga wins. But Kansas is a frisky team. They're a good team, a well-coached team, always recruit well. A team I'm excited to see how they play this year, but it's a good day for college basketball. It's a good day for football, even though we lost the game. Let's appreciate the 2 we have. And it's an incredible day for soccer as well.
Oh, incredible. We're going to be feasting on sports all day long. We're just an hour away from Europa, a little over a half hour until NFL football, and college basketball is already feasting. I'm getting my first dub of the day early. I told Al to take it when we were there. He had some money left in the kiosk. I said, Al, Omaha, Omaha, Omaha. Get your audible in, make that bet, but he didn't. Unfortunately, he's going to miss out, but I'm getting that free money. Make sure you get that free money too, and make sure you get Picasso Pizza at Picasso's Pizza, picassospizza.net for all your needs, especially for the weekend and all Bills games. They've got you covered. Some of the best pizza in the entire country, and you can get it across the entire country. They ship everywhere. I know Wade gets it in Long Island, and he absolutely loves it. Make sure you do that for yourself. Go get to the creek. Go hammer your bookies. Do whatever you got to do. Get that free money. Good night.